I don't think anybody was worried about that. They just needed to get it here, and now you are interfering in that. I think we'll just move on, and you can help us if you decide to. Or not. What do you guys think?
Kael just basically says to the person, "We are strong, therefore we are protectors." That is as simple as that. Now, are you going to help us, or are you going to keep getting in our way?
She just kind of steps aside into the plants and trees that are behind her and beside her, and she disappears from sight.
We return to the adventuring party.
Okay.
Sneak around. Sneak.
Okay, they're coming.
Run away. Run away.
That's the first time I've just like had fun with a match in a long time.
So welcome one and all, and for those out there watching, just so you know and understand, some of these character classes and ancestries are original, such as Kael Thunderstride is an original character. Well, not a class, but your ancestry is original. Luka is playing a forest-born human, not to be confused with a normal human. But because they do have abilities, it is slightly different. Maric is what they call an off-worlder here, because normally not from Oyala and Dor. And then, of course, Gabba being a goblin. Goblins are slightly different playable in this world. They are part of the tribal folk ancestries. So, again, it's a little bit different, but you'll notice that as time goes on. And hello, Killer Gal, and thanks for joining us. Long time no see, my friend. Long time no see. So we do have some new people coming back, or old people coming back, new people coming in. That's a good thing. So we are going to get started with this evening's one-shot adventure, as we've explained how things work. And I'm going to start things off right off the bat. You guys are in the town square at Mistwood. The town square of Mistwood bustles with activity as merchants haggle and townsfolk weave between vibrant stalls of the central market. Among the crowd is Santiago Valdezar, the proprietor of the Iron Wheel Trading Company, accompanied by a couple of wagons, one larger than the others, laden with sturdy crates. With a deep, commanding voice, he addresses the gathered adventurers. It was you four that got sent invites to be here. Greetings, my friends. Faristad's fields are failing, as you know, and the people grow desperate. To help them, Mistwood has prepared a gift, magical seeds imbued with vitality. My employee here, and he points to his caravan master, who is a small, looks like we lost probably Luka. I will.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It happens. His caravan master is a small kobold, a very dog-looking ancestry, and he has with him a companion, which is a dire weasel. So he refers to his caravan master. They will lead the way and lead the wagons and the carts, but they'll need capable protectors to ensure that the delivery arrives safely. There are whispers of bandits and beasts along the Golden Road. Hopefully, you guys will take up the task. The people of Faristad are depending on it. The caravan master, a grizzled yet kind-eyed traveler that you see, as I said, is a very dog-like individual. For those of you that are on our Discord, you've seen a picture of him. I don't have it loaded into the stream, otherwise I would show you. And he says, I've kind of wandered these roads for a while, so I've been through dangerous areas, and I'm sure I can guide the wagons for you, but I'll need your blades and your spells and your wits to help get us through, if that's okay. And with that, he approaches you, the four of you. Who's in charge? Do you have a person in charge? Or I know, like, we've seen you guys about town, and I know, I think Luka, Greycliff, and Gabba, I've seen you two together, and with Kael too. I'm not familiar with you. And he looks at Maric a little bit odd. I'm not familiar with you, or I think I've seen you in town, but he just kind of stands there.
Just been wandering through. Decided to hop on the journey while I can.
Well, if you guys are all individuals, I'll let you know now that I've been authorized to pay you guys 80 gold pieces each upon arrival in Faristad. And there's a bonus, of course, for getting the journey done completely. That's travel time as well, because you are on the road for about 16 days, there and 16 days back. So it's a bit of a long trip, but I am authorized to pay you that amount. And of course, if anything should happen, I mean, we can salvage what we find, of course. Are you guys game, or is everybody interested?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Luka would
The thrill of adventure.
greet Creek, say we haven't formally met. I've seen you at the inn a couple of times while I was dining there. Gabba and I and Kael, was it Kael that went with us to Scarlet Grove? We accompanied a caravan before, so this is not new to us.
Okay.
So, and then she would greet Maric and ask how long he'd been in Mistwood and what brought him here and what does he do.
I have not been in Mistwood for long, but a few days. I am a cleric specializing in uh, the practices of healing taught by my teachers in the uh, far off worlds that I'm from.
All right.
Yeah, you guys
welcome.
clearly identify Maric as him as an off-worlder. Definitely not any of the, at least no ancestries that you guys have come across, and I mean you've between the three of you, you've had some experience with the peoples of Oyala and Dor for sure.
Luka is a young woman. You would guess just, barely into adulthood. And she would tell you that she has a patron who sent her out here from the Ether Bloom where she was raised. And that patron is a unicorn. And she is trying to help with the problems that has been happening in the Mistwood area, in the forest, in the town.
And that would have been something that you've picked up. I mean, you haven't been in town a long time, Maric, but you would have picked up the fact that the town of Mistwood that sits on the edge of Mistwood Forest. Mistwood Forest is known for that because they're towering trees of spruce and pine, but only the bottom 3 feet of the forest is actually visible. 99.9% of the time, the top is all fog and mist that never clears. There is known to be 3 actual portals to the Ether Bloom, which is this world's version of the Feywild. A little bit, I think, more chaotic than the Feywild, to be honest with you. And as of late, there has been a lot of talk of corruption inside that forest coming from the Ether Bloom itself, and there's some kind of negative force working to corrupt the magics from the other side for sure. So you've kind of heard talk. I mean, it's rumored a lot around town, so you would have heard that mentioned numerous times for certain.
Meanwhile, Kael approaches Maric and goes, "It is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Kael. Kael Thunderstride."
Pleasure. And he would accept your hand. Name's Maric Ravengor.
Does Maric appear human?
Maric he appears human. He has black hair with like a silver kind of bangs. And he's kind of got sunken eyes and a little bit of a palish skin.
Okay.
A little scrawny.
Gabba the goblin is taking a chicken and feeding it to Ember, the dire weasel, and just looks up and goes, Gabba! And that's it.
So you take a chicken and offer it to
Ember, the dire weasel.
it sniffs it and looks up at its companion. I'd say master, but it doesn't really seem like they have like a master pet relationship. They're more almost like friends. So he looks at the kobold, and the kobold just kind of nods, and then he takes the chicken from you and eats it at that point.
Because
So
remember,
very
she's
much
feeding it the chicken and the roaring fox, so that's why she was bringing it as a treat for it.
yeah, that's fine. But it was accepting of you and just waited for permission to
Gotcha.
kind of to eat and whatnot. So with that, the kobold gets up on the lead wagon, which is hitched up to all like a couple of smaller wagons behind it, and he starts to jerks the reins on the horses that are there. And these are large horses that are pulling it forward. He says, "Well, we're heading out. Hopefully you guys are coming along. You can jump on a wagon or you can walk alongside. Either way, it's all good."
Gabba will cling to the outside of the wagon, feeling it's going to be fun to do that.
Okay.
Is there one wagon, two wagons, three?
There's actually three. Like there's one large wagon in the front, which has got the horses hooked up to it, and then two small wagons chained to it in behind with other goods and items in it. But the main wagon seems to be more of a security wagon as well, something that's got a little bit of heft and weight to it.
If I sit on the go ahead.
You first.
If I sit on the second wagon, at the front of the second wagon,
yep,
will I be right behind the horses?
Well, there's no horses on the second wagon. As I said, it's just chained to the first wagon. So it's
are they chained behind?
Yeah, it's more like a cart than a wagon. But yeah, you can sit on it.
That's what I'll do. I'll ride on the front of the second cart wagon.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Kael will load himself into the back of the third cart.
Okay. So you're in the back. You're just kind of sitting on the back, looking backwards in the road that you're leaving behind. Type of deal.
No, actually, he would look forward, but he's just basically leaned back at the back of the last.
Okay. Well, you don't. We're in that position. You really don't see much other than the cart in front of you and this massive big wagon up in the front lead. So that's what you're seeing in the back. Gabba, are you walking, or Maric?
No,
are you walking?
She's going to cling to the side of the front wagon, just ride it.
It's got some steps on it, so you're kind of hanging on one of the steps, holding on.
Yeah.
Would we know what we're transporting exactly?
You know it's some form of magical seed, because what has happened, and again, this has been all over town. There are early crops because the snow's just melted, and there are early crops that get planted in the Middlelands in certain communities, like Faristad, which is the farming center of this region. And for some reason, when the snow melted, there are vast amounts of field and crop rot that just seem to have kind of come towards the town, and it's really caused some destruction and worry that there's going to be a shortage. So there is some magical seed being sent, most likely in the front wagon, but looks like there's other goods and stuff, that normal type of trade caravan stuff in the rest of the wagons, the carts.
Then I'd have Maric roughly in the middle between the front and the second wagon. Just walking along the side.
You just walking beside it, not a problem. So this is pretty much the routine you guys get into for the next several days. I need, let's do, Gabba, roll me a D8, please.
I did forget to mention you would see a white raven frequently come and perch on Luka's shoulder.
5.
5?
Yep, 5.
Okay. So about 5 days into your journey, it's getting later in the day, and the Golden Road winds gently through patches of open fields. You've left the Mistwood Forest behind you. You've left Witch's Hill behind you, but you do hear the faint, cheerful strum of a lute carried on the breeze. Cresting this hill, you see a colorful wagon parked at the roadside. its sides painted with vibrant scenes of heroic battles and of legendary beasts. A lively bard dressed in patchwork and flamboyant silks and a feathered cap stands atop a makeshift stage. He raises a hand, seeing you come over the top of the hill, and calls out, "Ah, travelers! Fortune smiles upon us, for you've arrived just in time for a tale of valor and courage. Join me and hear the story of the Starlight Knight who struck down the Shadow Worm and saved the kingdom."
What time of day is it?
It's approaching evening.
Ah,
Hmm.
make camp? Then listen to story?
Kael would look over at his boss, Salazar.
Creek.
Salazar's
And
not
he-
there.
Oh, he's not. Okay.
Creek is there. The kobold.
He would look over at Creek then and go, should we stop or are we just going to keep going?
I can do either or. It's you guys are the muscle. You tell me.
Where had you planned on stopping tonight? She would ask Creek.
We're about close to the end of a day.
Is
Keep in mind,
this
this
a
is
good?
this is your fifth day. You guys have pretty much had this routine where around this time of day, you kind of pull off to the side, you set up camp, you eat a meal, you take your long rest, and you move on the next day. This time, you happen to bump into somebody at around that same point, and it's pretty common. Like when you do stop, you do notice because you're traveling at a regular pace. There are pre-used camping areas you can make you notice that, like old fire pits and whatnot, or little areas that have been trampled a little bit more than others, because again, this is the Golden Road. It's very well traveled by merchants and everything else normally. I mean, it's still early in the season, so there hasn't been a lot, but from last season there's still these markings of old campsites.
Okay. Kael basically just says, I care not either way, so I'll let you three decide.
Totally up the creek.
Sorry, you broke
Maric?
up.
Yeah, she said leave it up to Creek.
Oh, okay. Well, what kind of music is he playing?
He's just strumming on a lute, like just nothing. It's very laid back, like very medieval, casual type.
Gabba's just
But he
excited.
says he wants you to come in and hear a tale. Is what
Yeah.
he's invited.
Gabba's excited, and she's like, "Music Man," because it's like Route 66, where it's like you have an attraction finally. So she's definitely interested.
All right, Maric, do you have anything you wanted to add?
Would it appear that this is a open enough to have a good view on the area around?
It's pretty rolling. I mean, all the way along. You've just crested a hill. You've started to come down a little bit. There's a couple of trees off to the side, like where this wagon is off to the side, and it's all set up with the stage. There's a couple of trees as the backdrop, but most of this area right now is open field. Tall grasses, open field.
I see no reason why this can't be the camp for the night. It is a defensible position.
Sounds good.
So you guys, Creek pulls off to the side and goes and he starts tending to the horses. And of course, Ember, his dire weasel, is surprisingly doesn't spook the horses, especially when you see Creek's hand on their haunches. They seem very calm and to get along very well with him. So
Does
as you guys,
Dire
yeah.
weasels stink like they usually do, or do
No.
they not stink? Oh,
He looks
Okay.
very well groomed.
Hmm.
It's actually, when you see him, on occasion he'll stand up on his back two hind legs, and you'll see he's got like almost like a little leather vest, and attached to the leather vest, it looks like some kind of a pouch and maybe a scroll case of some kind.
That's adorable.
Kael goes to sit down next to Gabba. He just goes, are you okay, little friend?
To who?
Gabba.
Yes. Why?
You looked a little down after our last journey.
Gabba not feel like talking about that. She looks a little hurt still by that, but she does look like she's not affected as much as she was back then.
So you guys are you're talking amongst yourself, and Creek is tending to the horses, and it's across the roadway where this guy's stage is set up, and he starts to strum just a little bit louder. Come here, the tale.
We're getting set up first. Patience. Yeah, and basically waiting for everyone to get settled first.
Yeah,
Yep.
You guys take some time. You get your campsite set up. Do you kind of wander closer? Do you sit right in front of this guy's stage? Like there seems to be like old logs he's put out. There's a couple of rocks sitting there.
Kael sits on the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Find a
So you
log to
guys make
sit on.
yourself. You guys make yourself comfortable. And he strums a little bit, and then all of a sudden he comes up right to the edge of the stage and he says, "Once, in a time of endless twilight, when the sun itself seemed caught between waking and asleep, there lived a noble knight known only as the Starlight Knight. His armor gleamed like a shard of the heavens, and his blade, well, it was said to hum with celestial power. From the shadowed mountains emerged a great terror, the Shadow Worm, a dragon cloaked in darkness so thick that even the brightest flames could not pierce it. It descended upon the lands, devouring the light and leaving despair in its wake. Villages fell silent. Even the bravest of warriors trembled as it approached. The Starlight Knight, with no court nor crown to answer to, took up the cause. Alone he ventured to the worm's lair, a cavern that swallowed light and echoed with the beast's thunderous growls. They say he called upon the stars themselves as he entered the maw of darkness. His armor burned brighter than ever. The worm's shadow claws and venomous breath were no match for his radiance. After a battle that shook the very earth, the Starlight Knight struck the final blow, his sword cleaving through the worm's heart. The shadow dissipated, and the stars above glowed brighter than they had in centuries. The knight emerged victorious through his light, though his light had dimmed, a price worth paying, he said, before vanishing into the twilight, leaving behind only a shard of his celestial armor as a beacon for the ages. And with that, he steps back and he just kind of strums his lute a little bit and lets the story sink in for those of you that heard.
A fine tale. A fine tale.
Why did Worm
Thanks for
get
noticing,
shadow?
Killer.
How did Worm get shadow? Did Worm get sick?
It's just a story. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, can I roll a Arcana check
What are you trying to determine?
to determine if the shadow the shadow worm, I should say, is something from like an arcane lore he's heard about.
You can make an Arcana check. Yes. Sorry for the long-winded story there, Killer.
Ooh, that's a good roll.
Flavor context here.
That's a 24.
24. Well, you do know that there is dragons of darkness, and this could very well have been one of them, like an ancient dark dragon. So it's something that could very well have been.
Yeah, I would just turn to Gabba and go, I've heard of ancient dark dragons of the past. They haven't been around as far as I know of lately.
Were they born dark?
Oh,
You're muted, Gabba.
Always happens at some point.
Sorry. Were they born dark?
Yes.
That sounds sad.
They're not kind creatures to deal with.
Maric and Luka, make me a perception check. Because Gabba and Kael are in a conversation.
That is a 19.
Okay, Luka.
Let's see. That is a 17.
Okay. You guys both notice. I mean, it doesn't. You're kind of watching Kael and Gabba have this conversation, kind of this back and forth a little bit. Half interested, but not really. You know, one of those situations. The performer, the storyteller, has actually gotten off the stage, and he's just kind of walking over to you with his hat in his hand, almost like he's asking for a tip or a donation. He hasn't said anything though. He's very quiet, just listening to you guys talk amongst yourselves, and he's just kind of holding the hat.
Luka would drop a couple silver in the hat.
Okay.
I'll drop a gold.
Oh, okay.
Got one to spare.
Generous.
Gabba reaches into her hair and then pulls out a good berry and puts it in the hat.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you guys didn't notice at first, but when you noticed, all of a sudden you kind of glance over at Luka and Maric putting coin in this guy's hat, and you're like, "Oh, okay, so you did a good berry."
At this point, Kael just goes and follows suit, but he's assuming everyone's supposed to just ramp up, so he just puts in 2 gold coins.
Okay. So with that, I mean, there's some brief conversation, amongst with this guy and you guys, and you just talk amongst yourselves. He, invites you to sit by his fire for a while, and then eventually you retire back over to your side where Creek is basically settled the horses down for the night and readied their evening as it goes. The next morning, when you do get up, the traveling merchant is gone with tracks heading off to the north, off road through the field. So you see him headed that way. You guys can take note on your sheet. On your first attack, your next attack, you will get advantage.
Nice.
And you guys continue along your quest and your journey. So 3 more days go by. So after 8 days of this arduous
Halfway
travel
there.
along. What was that?
I said we're halfway there.
Almost, yeah. Along the Golden Road, the caravan finally approaches the Silver Vale Run, which is a glittering river renowned for its mystical origins. The journey here has been long, winding through meadows and rocky hillsides, past small clumps of trees and haunting rise of Witch's Hill. The caravan finally crests a hill, and the Golden Bridge comes into view, or, strangely, what remains of it. The centuries-old stone structure, adorned with carvings depicting the journey of the Silver Vale Run, now stands partially collapsed, stones falling into the water. The water churns below, and the caravan's wagons creak with uncertainty as the horses rear up nervously. Creek, who's in charge of the caravan, looks to you for guidance. You'll need to find a way across while keeping the wagon and the cargo safe.
Was this bridge supposed to be intact, Creek? Have you heard about this?
Well, last I heard it was. But it is an old bridge, and we've had some pretty bad storms that we just got out of there near winter.
Any paths that look like anyone? Oh, well, never mind. That answers that question.
Yep.
I was going to say, any close paths that look like well-traveled travelers found a way around it already?
No, it looks like you got to go over it, or try and get your way through the waters, and the water looks pretty violent down below.
Is it stable enough for the wagons and horse?
Well, with that, you'd have to go and take a look. Make me. So we got Gabba kind of going out to do a little bit of inspection on the bridge. So Gabba, you can make me a survival roll, please.
Oh, good. That's a nat 20
Okay.
for a 24.
You're pretty sure you see a safe passage for the wagon to get across the bridge. Anybody else going to do anything?
Kael goes, I'm the heaviest out of us all. I'll go test it out next. So Kael is going to just basically not just stand on the bridge, but he's basically jumping up and down, trying to make sure, see if his weight would damage the bridge anymore.
So you've gone to the kind of the center of the bridge.
Yes,
So
and he's basically.
I'm going to have you make me an athletics check, please.
18. And now I need to check my athletics thing, which is a strength thing. Dirty 20.
Okay. Seems pretty sturdy at this point. Maric, because the others are Luka was kind of looking at the horses, seeing if there's a way to get them across and realizing that, no, that wouldn't work. You're kind of there looking at this churning river below. Make me a perception roll.
That is a 17.
A 17. When you're looking at the white water basically down below and the rocks, you also notice something amongst those rocks. There are some very large river serpents in the waters themselves below the bridge. So it's definitely not something you want to do. So you've gotten, Kael, you think you've found the most secure section of the middle. Gabba, you think you know the best way for the wagon wheels to go and where not to go. So what are you guys doing at this point?
Well,
The water here appears to be infested with water serpents. I do not recommend getting close to it if we can.
Gabba would call up to the horses. She's like, talk to Gabba. And she casts speak with animals. And she's like coaxing the horses. Safe way, come.
Meanwhile, Kael is just using his hand and fanning everyone over here like it seems safe.
All right, so Gabba, you go up. Kael's leading the way as well, finding like these safe spots to the other side. You guys are moving forward.
Luke would walk alongside and make sure that it was staying along the safe path.
Yeah, you guys are all pretty much getting across. It looks like your companions were correct, picking the right way across. And as the last wagon creaks across the remaining stone arches, the golden bridge groans one final time, and it collapses entirely into the rushing waters of the Silver Vale Run. The caravan master, Creek, breathes a sigh of relief as the bridge falls and you guys are safely on the other side. With a resolute nod, he sits there and he cracks the reins again as making the caravan press onward. It looks like the dangers of this journey are never ending and have only just begun. He's like, we have to get the seed to Faristad.
How we get back now?
I was thinking that too.
That's something you're going to have to think on. So you guys press on, and 2 days after your harrowing crossing of the Silver Vale Run, the caravan approaches a crucial juncture where a small road veers northward towards Faristad. The signpost creaks in the breeze, its faded letters barely legible under the afternoon sun. As the caravan slows to consider the route, the surrounding woods grow unnervingly quiet, and there is a bunch of woods around this particular road north. Not heavy, but again, it's because again, this is mostly grassland. This is just one of those little clumps of trees that you're going through, and with a sharp whistle, a volley of arrows thuds into the dirt near your feet. Figures emerge from the shadow, the weapons glinting menacingly. A rough voice shouts, "Leave the goods and walk away, and you'll leave in peace instead of pieces." To make matters worse, snarling hounds emerge from the underbrush as well, their teeth bared and their eyes locked on the caravan.
You've picked the wrong wagon, friend. We don't have any goods. Nothing but seed. Move on and let us pass.
Right, let me bring this here. Where is here? Whoop, there we go. This is what you see at this point.
As she finishes saying that, she does a little series of motions and words, casting a spell, which they can see. And to this kind of clear coating of ice covers her entirely as she casts Armor of Agathis on herself.
Okay. Anybody else doing a preemptive action at this point?
Kael will actually do a preemptive action. He's going to summon Mirror Image and basically make it look like there's more to them than they think by summoning. How many duplicates did they do again?
3 generally.
3.
Three duplicates of himself in front of everything.
Oh, you're doing it in front of everything?
Yeah. And he just goes, "Are you sure you wish to play this game?"
Gabba does something similar, but to the wolves. She's going to kind of hunch down, bare her teeth, stare at the wolves, and kind of slowly shake her head, kind of warning them this is a bad idea.
Okay. So that's what you're doing. Maric, are you doing anything specific?
Would it be possible to cast guidance on myself and then try to peer to see if we are surrounded or if this is just the whole group in front of us?
You can definitely do guidance and make a perception check.
$18.
This is the whole group you see. There are 4 what looks like bandits, a leader, and those are 2 dire wolves. So that's what goes on. At this point, we're going to do initiatives.
Okay.
Gabba?
Nat 20 for a 24. That's a good dice.
Kael.
16 total.
Maric.
15. 18.
18. And Luka.
17.
17. Nice. Okay. All right. So at the top of the round is Gabba.
So
you had basically done that. I need you to make me a persuasion or an intimidation.
Intimidation, 23.
Now, you really haven't done anything intimidating as of yet, but you can choose to try to be more.
Yeah, that's kind of, she's digging into that nature, and it was a natural 19 for a 23.
23. With that, the 2 dire wolves take kind of a little bit of a step back. But the bandits have not done any actions as of yet. Do you do anything else?
She will move forward and take a step past the wall of Kael. Her bonus action is she will induce a rage, and she'll bring out her angry tail that she's sort of whipping back and forth as she's staring down this bandit leader. And
Okay.
that's her turn.
Alrighty. And that brings us to me. What are they going to do? Let's see. They will. Yes, I think they will. Kael. They can do Kael. They really can't see Maric much. Luka. So I'll do 2 on Kael. Yep.
I also forgot to tell you that I did roll for Thistledown for initiative of 21.
All right. Sorry, then I'll let this will go first.
Right now, I have him doing a whole action for a help action.
Okay, he's doing the help action. Okay.
And he's invisible.
Alrighty. So does a 18 hit you, Kael?
I believe so. Yes, it does.
Okay. Well, then the 23 is going to hit you too. So
Is it one of your duplicates or?
yeah, that's what you got to roll to find out.
1d4?
Is it D4? I thought it was a D6.
What was it?
D4 to see which one it hits.
Oh, yeah, the D4. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So on the first arrow, we'll do 1 arrow at a time.
2.
So it hits number 2, and it goes bye-bye.
And 4, which is probably Kael.
No, that would be you, Kael. So you only take 4 points of piercing damage. And on Luka,
Pulls it right back out.
is at 18, 22 to hit Luka, and a
Yep.
11. So the 11, I think, misses for sure.
What did he hit me with?
An arrow.
Okay, then I don't think he triggers the this damage. It has to be a melee attack.
It's 7 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And the last guy is the leader.
What is
Oh, it's D20.
And this guy is going to move forward. As you see the leader look at Gabba, look at you, and he says, I gave you guys warning, and you see him do one of these for this guy who had already taken a shot on Luka. And as he does, he steps over to you, drops his bow, and pulls out his scimitar and slices towards you.
Who is attacking who?
One of the bandits is attacking Gabba. And that is a 23 to hit.
Okay, I'm going to try something. Her tail comes soaring towards him. That is a 4. Damn it, that's a 21, so that hits.
Okay. So you hit him in retaliation?
Well, so basically reaction, her tail is trying to knock the blow away, but it just wasn't strong enough, and the blade still hits. So tail strike failed, and she gets impacted.
You take 5 points of slashing damage.
5 reduced to 3 because she's raging. Cool.
Okay, and that is the end of my action, and that takes us to Maric and Luka. You're on deck.
How many do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 enemies. I would like to take a couple steps to the northwest towards Luka.
Up here.
And then while I have all 3 of them in my sight, I would like to cast Bless.
Okay. So you're hitting Gabba. Yeah, because you can see Kael there, Luka, and Gabba, so all 3 of them. Okay, so you guys are under the effect of a bless spell.
Okay.
What does that do?
And that gives them...
So Bless lets you add a d4 to any attack roll or saving throw. And then do remember that we have advantage on our next attack roll due to the song that we listened to, the story.
Yeah, your first full attack, you get an advantage. Okay, so is that the end of your action?
Yes.
Okay, Luka, you're up, and Kael, you're on deck.
Does that advantage mean if I choose a spell that makes them make a saving throw that they are throwing that saving throw at disadvantage?
No, it's only on your first actual attack. So if it's a ranged spell attack or something like that, then it still counts. You get advantage.
Okay, well, I think what I want to do is I want to cast Shatter right between those back 2 guys. Far enough back that it gets them in the 10-foot radius and does not get Gabba.
So you're thinking here? Or more here?
Where you were the first time.
Around here. So you're just trying to catch these 2.
These 2, yeah.
All right.
So they need to make a con saving throw.
13.
Fail.
And a 12. Fail.
Fail. Okay, I'm rolling damage. I rolled 18 points. All right.
18 points of damage?
Yes. To both of them.
To both of them, yeah.
Nice.
Actually, I should put them back on the board and put the dead token on them. Is that way you know they're there?
Oh, it got them both. Excellent.
Nice, yeah.
Yes, you did. Okay. And is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll
Kael?
stay there.
Okay. Kael is going to align himself so he can hit the leader. And he's gonna he's gonna be like, "You were the one who was warned, my friend," and throws a level 2 chromatic orb at him. And I gotta pick a random element. Ooh, lightning.
Okay. All right.
So if this hits, I could roll 48. 17 with advantage. That is nat 20.
Nice.
That's good.
That's going to fry him, I think. I'm going to roll 48 now. 1. 8. 8.
Nice.
7. So
24.
24. Lightning ball.
Wow, he's looking pretty hurt. Looking kind of frazzled and fried at this point, to be honest with you.
He's probably going, maybe this was a mistake.
That brings us to the top of the round, to Gabba.
Gabba has sword too, and she pulls out her scimitar and does a swing at the leader.
Okay.
This will be advantage to 24 to hit, so plus 1. But that's only going to be, 8 points of slashing. Actually, no. Let's see which version I have. 8. Sorry. There it is. Oh, okay. 10 points of slashing overall. 8 for the slashing and 2 for Fury of the Small.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, he's looking pretty hurt.
And that's it. She's just growling.
Okay. And that brings us to Thistle. Was he still doing the help action?
Yes.
Okay. And if that's the case, then we're on to Maric. Or actually, no, we're on to me. My bad. We'll do a swing back on Gabba.
So who's Thistle again?
Thistle's
Thistle
the
is familiar.
White Raven.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
She
who's the
took-
player?
She
Got
took
it.
back to the change. She has a familiar, which
Nice.
I haven't been using for some
23
reason,
to
but
hit
I'm
on
going to
Gabba.
now.
23? All right,
Yep.
you know what? I'm going to try another tail swipe. Maybe I'll get lucky. That's a D8. Oh, that's only 19. That hits.
You get an additional D4 for attack rolls and saving throws. I don't know if that applies.
It's no, it's not.
Oh yes, bless.
It's well, no, it's a special roll to raise my AC, so I don't think it counts.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. 6 points of piercing damage.
All right, reduce to
He
3.
jabs it. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
And that takes us to the bandits, as they will make shots on to Kael as well. That is a 19 to hit.
Oh, that hits.
And a 23 to hit.
19 and 23. They both hit.
So who do they hit?
Time to roll the D20 and see if.
Or the D whatever, D6.
D6 you have to roll in order to actually
See which one I hit. So 1 and 2 is you, 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
2. 6.
So
You get hit with 1 and this guy goes bye-bye.
another Kael down.
As you take 3 points of piercing damage.
Okay, and I believe I took 4 points before, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and that's the end of my turn. Now we take it to Maric. You're up.
Let me just check. A first level higher. Okay. Okay. Does anyone look particularly healthy?
Does any one
Well
of
off?
our group?
Or
No,
the
like
enemies.
the enemies. Anyone that looks above bloody or anything like that.
The leader looks bloodied. He's in bad shape.
Okay.
The other
The
two
two over
have
there
um,
haven't been hit yet.
Let me check. Think. Yeah, I'll go north and then go east to get between those two bandits. One more. Just trying to squeeze in. And then I'm gonna cast Words of Radiance, and I will need a con save. DC 14.
3 failed. Natural 20 on the one below you.
Okay. Then the one that did not fail will take 1d6 radiant.
Okay.
5.
5 points. All right, and the other one's just unaffected.
Unaffected.
Okay.
That's my turn.
All right, and that brings us to Luka and Kael. You're on deck.
Let's see. I think that Luka will target the leader with an agonizing eldritch blast. What do I do again for Thistle's help action?
I need you to make now. Do you have Thistle's? You have Thistle stats, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I need you to make a perception check from Thistle. because it's like he's trying to help you target a spell. So target's 15. DC is 15.
Yeah. I rolled. What am I rolling again? Perception?
Perception for Thistle, yeah.
Do, 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 do.
It's a new bard.
Oh, I just met it. 15.
15. Okay, meets it, beats it. So you get a +2 to your spell attack bonus.
Okay.
Nice.
So I rolled a 14 on my spell attack. Would hit
Okay.
anyway.
Plus bless D4.
Plus the D4 plus the 2.
You hit.
Okay.
You definitely hit.
Yeah, I would make sure I hit that. All right, so that my Eldritch Blast is going to do 8 points of damage.
Okay. He's barely standing.
Okay.
At that, he drops his weapons and he puts his hands up.
And later does, huh?
Just as a reaction, he just
Tie him up, Gabba, she says. And then
Wolves,
she
come
turns
back.
to the other two.
as the one leader does this.
Surrender.
The one at the
Okay.
bottom that was unhit by Maric slashes at Maric as a reaction.
Okay. I'm gonna have
17
to.
hit. Does 17 hit you, Maric?
Mac, you muted it.
You did.
It does indeed.
Okay. 4 points of slashing damage. And as he does that, he drops his weapon and puts his hands up. And so does the other one follow suit.
Okay, Maric, slap that one and then tie him up too.
So basically, you guys, they are literally surrendering. You have 2 dead bandits. You have a bandit leader who's looking really, really bad, and 2 other bandits that are, well, one pretty much unscathed, other than the fact he's probably taken a punch in the face from Maric as he gets bound, and the other one, the wolves have gone. They've long gone into the woods. They took their hint and screwed up. Sorry, I'm just looking at just learning. Well, let's share it with the group. Why not? There we go. Well, I'll tell you what. I've got an invite for you, Killer. Just kind of taking a brief pause here. This Sunday is our Newcomer Sunday, where every Sunday in our Discord we focus on people who want to learn D&D or people who just don't know where to start. Different experience levels. So a lot of people, even experienced people who know D&D, don't know where to start in the Discord. We will help with that. We can guide you through it and really get you started. It doesn't mean you have to start right away, but we can literally put you on the path so that you get a better feel for the game itself and what dice are needed to roll. Because I'll be honest with you, when a DM says, like when I'm telling these guys roll initiative, almost every time you roll a dice, it's a D20. That's generally what happens, unless I ask you to roll a different die, and then I'll basically tell you ahead of time. I'll be like, roll a D4, D6, whatever. So you kind of get the feel, but it's 99% of the time it's going to be a 20-sided dice roll. So, but if you want to come join us in the Discord, you know where we are. On Sunday, we will, one of us will be around to answer questions and give you a little bit more one-on-one if you want. So anyway, that being said, What are you guys doing at this point? Creek just kind of sits there and he's like, he looks really happy. He's clapping his hands. He goes, "You guys did really well. Really, what are we going to do with them?" I say we take their stuff.
You
It's
can
the
do
first
what
time
you
you
want
see
with their stuff.
a little bit of naughtiness behind Creek, even though he
Yeah.
looks like he looks like a dog or a hound, but he's got this cute look about him. But then all of a sudden, he's got this kind of fiendish, cunning, almost fox-like, but
Okay.
definitely fox. And he's, let's take their stuff.
Well, I
Yes,
think
Kael.
Luka would probably tie them, uh, hands to ankles, so they have to walk hunched over, and then one to each other, so they're kind of tied together.
Okay,
With
don't
rope.
tie it to Luka yet, because I want to do something to the leader now. Kael's gonna actually approach the leader. He's gonna hold up a hold action chromatic orb and go, "Now I'm going to ask you, give us everything you have." He's doing a power move right now.
The guy is just like, he's got his arms open and up, kind of like, surrender. Take what you want.
Good.
You guys do on them. You find obviously their weapons. They've all got studded leather armor. You find a grand total of 40 gold pieces amongst them, which is quite a lot for a small bandit group. You do find a potion of healing, and there is a silver dagger on the leader. Non-magical. It's just a silver dagger.
Okay, I turn to everybody else and go, "Does anybody else use a dagger?"
Luka pats her dagger on the side of her hip and says, "I've got one already, thanks."
Turns to the others.
Gabba will just yell at the leader. It's like, "Now don't be bad," and she'll just stomp back towards the caravan, all grumpy like.
You better
Creek
definitely
kind of
take
nudges
the
wagon
dagger.
forward a little bit. So are we leaving him behind?
No, we're gonna
Gabba's
make
leaving
him
behind.
walk in front of the wagons and take him to Faristad to face justice.
Okay.
Probably the best idea.
Are any of them notably spellcasters? Anything with like a spellcasting focus or no?
You don't see anything on them that gives them away as a spellcaster.
Kael just keeps the silver dagger with him then.
Yes.
Who would like to hold on to the potion?
You, I guess.
Well, you can, Maric.
All right. So Maric, you can hold
Why
on to the
not?
potion of healing.
Yeah, he goes. Kael just goes, "I have no need for it."
I have one.
So Creek is marching them in front of the wagon, making sure the horses don't trample them, as they're kind of tied, their arms tied as they move forward and move along. As you guys watch them, and you guys leave the clearing, or leave that pathway through the trees, and it doesn't take long, about another half an hour, and you're actually out of that particular group of trees. And the caravan rolls onward, and Creek kind of says, "We really can't stand. We can't have any more delays. We've got to go." And it rolls forward, and it goes through some golden fields and a couple more sparse groves of trees. The distant silhouette at this point of Faristad can be seen ahead down the road, growing larger with each passing hour. And you're approaching dusk. It begins to settle, and you spot a lone figure standing in the middle of the road ahead, cloaked in patchwork robe of deep greens and browns. The setting sun cast their shadow long across the path, and the glimmer of silver light reflects off the staff they carry. Creek halts the caravans, and the figure calls out in a calm yet commanding voice, "Travelers, you carry something very precious, and the wind tells me danger still follows you. I come as a friend, but only if you can prove yourselves worthy of my aid."
And what do you mean by that?
Yes.
Well, I'm Elowen Leafshade. You guys can roll me a history check or a nature check if you're so inclined.
Don't know if there's any point in Luka doing that since she is.
Actually,
only-
Luka, you can make me a nature check along with Gabba. Make it nature.
Oh,
That's just a 10 for Gabba.
Okay.
Would it even be possible for me to know this since I'm not from here?
Yeah, you know what I'm
That's
thinking
what
about?
I
No,
said.
probably not if you're an outworlder. Probably not.
when I said being from the Ether Bloom, I might not know who that.
So
anybody
how'd
else.
you get on your nature there, Luka?
Nature? Can't seem to find my nature. Should be right there. Oh, it's only a +2. Oh, I rolled good. 21.
You know the name Elowen Leafshade. Elowen is a druid of the Grove Bound Circle who's one of the protectors of the Ether Bloom Gates. You know her motives are very altruistic, but her assistance isn't always guaranteed. She always seems to have something that she's looking for or looking to test individuals in whatever. She doesn't really specify. She just kind of just wants you to kind of prove your worth. And when you ask and Kael asks, well, what do you mean by that? Well, what makes you worthy to carry something so vital to the balance of the land?
I don't think anybody was worried about that. They just needed to get it here, and now you are interfering in that. I think we'll just move on, and you can help us if you decide to. Or not. What do you guys think?
Kael just basically says to the person, "We are strong, therefore we are protectors." That is as simple as that. Now, are you going to help us, or are you going to keep getting in our way?
She just kind of steps aside into the plants and trees that are behind her and beside her, and she disappears from sight.
Oh,
And
great.
you guys press on.
Gabba's kind of reluctant. She almost wants to go follow, but it's like she'll just yell out,
An odd encounter.
"Gabba and friends keep things safe." That's about it.
So she's gone from sight, and as the caravan begins to roll forward again under the gathering twilight, you hear her voice once again from the wood, a little bit more distant, and it lingers in your minds as you hear it. The balance is fragile, and the path ahead is treacherous, so tread carefully, travelers. The road stretches on, and the distant lights of Faristad shimmer like stars on the horizon.
Friday, she didn't say anything about our prisoners.
Nope, she didn't say a word about them.
Okay.
You guys could have chose to use that as part of your rationale to why you're worthy or whatever, but I mean, you handled it in that regard. We're kind of like, okay, move aside. We're going to do things anyway. So she did. With that, go. So after 4 days of travel northward from the Golden Road itself, the caravan finally approaches the gates of Faristad. The golden fields surrounding the settlement seem less vibrant than expected. Streaks of rot and wilted crop visible to the west. For the past 3 days, an unnatural blight has crept closer, leaving barren patches in its wake. The source of this decay becomes clear as you reach the town's edge. The ground trembles beneath your feet, and a low, resonant growl from the nearby tree line. A monstrous figure emerges, wreathed in shadow and glowing with an unnatural light. Its hulking form seems to absorb the vitality around it. Farmers and the militia cry out in fear and they run away. A cursed guardian steps forward. You've seen guardians before in the ether bloom.
Yes.
This is definitely, it's cursed. It steps forward and its voice booming. The seeds must not pass. Balance must be preserved. And I will.
Luka would ask, why would it be balance to have everything rotting? If there was balance, things would be growing normal.
I think he means balance as in the balance of life and death. That these plants, these crops need to be destroyed.
Let's see, who's more from here? You've been doing some traveling, Maric. Where Luka, you're from the Ether Bloom, so you really wouldn't know too much about the lands overall. Gabba, you
Hails
know
from
a
Osafia.
yeah. Kael's from Osafia, so you have no clue. Gabba, you've heard, and Maric, you've been traveling here and there. For the last decade, the crops have been extremely bountiful in this region.
Um, is this thing that's in front of us humanoid?
It is humanoid. It's got 2 legs, 2 arms,
But it
but
looks corrupt.
it's large.
I mean, it doesn't look normal. It looks corrupt.
It looks corrupt for sure. It looks like something of nature that's been twisted, and it's about 12 feet tall.
Gabba turns to put Luka on the spot. It's like, Luka, plant's sick. How do we fix? Because she knows Luka's an herbalist, or at least does a lot with plants.
Well, the quick
Let's
fix is
cast,
why we're coming here with this magic seed. It's the quick fix.
At this point, Kael's actually going to look at the Guardian and goes, "Look, you are getting in our way again. There are too many people getting in our way. You can either move aside, or we can just destroy you next. I'm getting a little tired of these distractions."
Don't have to destroy everyone.
Okay, so you make that declaration, and everybody can roll me initiative again.
Oops.
I was trying to dissuade him.
Sorry.
Gabba,
I was gonna roll
8.
intimidation if I could, because I was gonna speak into his mind.
That's kind of what I was trying to do, intimidate him, but obviously that didn't work.
19 plus 3, 22.
22 for Gabba.
No.
For Mary.
8 for Gabba.
8 for Gabba. Kael,
16 for Kael.
16. Luka,
16 for Luka and 13
for
for
Thistle.
Thistledown.
Okay, so I believe Luka's got a higher dex than Kael. So
I have a +1.
Yeah,
Luka goes for Kael. So at the
That's
top of the
plus
round
3
is
dex.
Maric. You're first up.
I would like to do the. I would like to activate my mind link on the creature.
Okay.
Any creature. Wait, how far is it?
25 feet.
25 feet. I would like to cast the mind link, which I can go up to 30 feet. They do not have to understand the language I speak, but I'm telepathically communicating. And I would like to kind of roar into his head.
So you
To bring
reach
balance
out
is
your mind, and you sense this life essence, and you connect telepathically, and you let out this roar. And what do you say?
to seek balance. There is already great death amongst us. You must achieve a life. Be gone, or you shall join your death.
Do you do anything along with this, or is it just a message?
Probably drawing my rapier.
Okay, so you're drawing a rapier, and as you're doing this, and you say it, and just as you complete the link and your words, it hits you that it just fell on an empty shell. There was no connection. There was no link. You thought you grasped the life essence, but there was no psychic link there whatsoever as you did that. And you've drawn your rapier. And with that, we go to next up on the round. That would be... so the first thing that it does is it moves right up to the wagon. It will use...
He's going to try to destroy the wagon, isn't he?
Yeah. He reaches up and he slams both fists on the wagon with all of his might. I need every creature within 15 feet. That's pretty much all of you. To make a DC.
Would he have had to walk past?
He's just walked right in between the group, right up to the front of the wagon, the horses.
So he hasn't gone into attacks of opportunity areas.
No, if he leaves a combat ring, then it's an attack. So you guys need to make a strength saving throw, DC 14.
I rolled an 18. Plus 2.
Dirty 20.
Gabba has a 19.
A 10.
Maric, you're prone. You're knocked on your ass. As this, whatever it is, just did the horses themselves rear up as his fists come down, and it shatters the linking that ties the horses to the wagon, and that shattered, and the horses scatter. And that is his turn. And with that, we will go to Luka and Kael. You're on deck.
Okay, Luka would immediately shoot an agonizing eldritch blast at the guardian.
Okay.
That is a... that is a 16. Is that it?
16 barely hits, yes.
Okay. Or it's 10 damage.
Because that's force damage, right?
Yes.
Okay. You damage it. And is that the end of your turn?
Okay. Yes, it is.
Okay. Kael, you're up.
First, I'm going to Font of Magic, which allows me to convert my sorcery points into a level 2 spell, which I'm going to do.
Okay.
And I'm going to just throw a chromatic orb at second level. With him just saying outright, I am tired of this stuff.
What kind of damage? What kind of elemental?
I'm checking that now. Ooh, fire! Okay. I want to see if I hit. Okay, now I need to check my spell attack thing. $23 to hit.
Hits.
Okay, 48. 3, 8, 3, 3.
Okay, so how much damage?
16 damage, I think. Oh, 17, sorry. I miscounted.
Okay. And that takes us to Thistle. Is Thistle just doing help action?
Yes.
Okay. And Gabba.
Gabba's just like, you're being bad, and she'll just punch him. Nothing special. Just ball up a fist, and
Yeah.
that is a 19 to hit,
Yep.
and that's just a flat 4 bludgeoning.
Okay, so it doesn't seem to do as much damage as you think it does.
That's it. She's like, ow.
That's it. So we are back at the top of the round with Maric. Takes half your movement to stand up.
Is there a way to? I will do so. Is there any way to tell if necrotic would actually deal damage?
There's no way of knowing for certain. You're not familiar with this particular creature or the corruption or the curse that's affecting it.
I will just simply. How close am I? Am I in front of it or
You are about 10 feet away in front of it.
10 feet away?
Side door. Yeah.
Okay. I will back up, and I will cast Guiding Bolt.
Okay.
I have advantage because it's my first attack roll, correct?
Yep. Hello, A Shadow Lily. Welcome.
So, what did I miss?
Maric is in the middle of attacking with a guiding bolt.
Okay. I don't know why it kicked me off that time. I
22
just
to
put
hit.
my mic off.
You hit.
Uh, 14 radiant and then 3 necrotic. And then the next person will have advantage.
Well, the radiant damage, when you see it wash over this thing, it kind of withers some of the plant material that's on it, but the necrotic doesn't seem to do anything. Okay.
And did we long rest from the previous
Oh,
fight?
yeah.
You guys
Days
have
ago.
long rest. Yeah, sorry. I
What
should
are
have told you that.
the prisoners doing in the middle of all this? Are they just kind of cowering off to the side?
Yeah, they're just kind of like backing off to the side, just staying out of the way because their hands are bound, so they're kind of went in the direction of the horses. Although they're not going far because at the top of the barracks, the towers, even though they're not out really doing much of anything, there are some crossbows trained down in that general vicinity, but they seem to be more trembling with fear as they're looking down. So not knowing what this thing definitely is. So that is the end of Maric's turn, and that takes us to me. With that, this large thing, this cursed guardian, raises its arms once again in the air, but instead of smashing them down just fists, you see this giant spectral greatsword appear in its hands. But as it also activates Aura of Dread. So Gabba and Luka need to make me wisdom saving throw. I think you're the only two within 10 feet.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though I go to the edge, you're
Okay.
still. Oh, no.
21.
Kael. So, and
30,
Kael.
20.
Kael as well.
Oh, Kael.
Yeah.
And it was a dexterity save?
No, wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom save, okay. I got a 6.
Okay. Where is... I'm going to try and find it now.
First bad roll of the day.
It's you. Kael, you are frightened.
Ah, wait. It's frightened?
Yep.
I have a thing for that. Advantage on saving throws against being frightened.
Okay, roll me one more time.
Nat 20.
There you go. You're not frightened. It just the chill comes up your spine there for a moment as this thing does it. And as he's doing that, he does swing down with the great sword onto the wagon.
Oh, he is pissing off.
As
Kael.
basically you see Ember and Creek scatter as the front seat of the wagon is now split in two, revealing an opening into the back of the wagon where you can see inside there is a bound chest in the center of the wagon at the inside. And with that is the end of his turn, and it is moving on to Luka. You're up.
Yes, a second. I'm trying to get my cat out of my clean laundry basket. Get out of there. Sorry.
It's all right.
Cat distraction in the background.
Always a good thing to have.
All right, so let's see. This thing is making me mad. I really want to hit it with the Eldritch Blast because I do more damage with the Eldritch Blast. And I know you said it seemed like it took extra damage from the Radiant, though?
Nope.
Nope?
It just took damage
Okay.
from Radiant, for sure.
All right, well, Eldritch Blast is then. And that definitely is going to hit with a 24.
Nice.
That is an 8. It's plus 4. 12.
12 points of damage.
12 points of damage.
All right. It's looking worn a little bit. Not bloodied for certain, but it's definitely maybe close to half its hit points.
All right. Keep hitting it, guys. We're getting it. See if you can push it away
Kael,
from the
you're up.
wagon.
Okay. Kael's going
Kael,
to
see if you
call out.
push it away.
Kael's going to call out to Gabba and go, Gabba, push this thing away from the cart. And then he's just going to get angrily throw an acid level 2 again, chromatic orb at this creature.
An acid blast. Okay.
It's called an acid chromatic orb, but beyond a point.
Yeah, acid damage.
Looks like an acid blast.
So that's a 22 to hit.
You hit.
Time to roll the damage. 8. 8. 6.
22.
1.
23 points of damage. Now it looks bloodied. Or the equivalent of. No blood coming out of this thing, but the equivalent of. And Gabba, you're up.
She's not sure why it has to push it away, but first off, she's going to do her rage. It's like, God, stop doing that. And she's going to bring out her claws. Her little kitty whiskers come out. And then she's going to try to push the guy away. Or try to.
Okay. So you make a physical attack. Roll to hit.
Okay. It's a nat 20.
Okay, nat 20. You actually push it back.
Nice.
10 feet.
It's little goblin raging.
Don't do any damage.
This huge Forest Guardian.
And then she'll kind of move up into its face to try to keep it from going to the cart.
Okay, so now you're doing one of these. Okay. Is that the end of your turn?
Yep.
All right. Top of the round. We're at Maric.
I say that immediate damage was really good.
Okay. For the cart, there has the chest, correct? Like in the back.
Sorry, I just realized something here, guys. My apologies.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That would have helped.
There
eh?
it is.
Oh, yes.
Oh, look, we have a map.
Okay.
My apologies. All right.
Okay. We'll do another guiding. No. Yeah, we'll do guiding bolt. This
Okay.
time at level 2.
All right.
Does a 21 hit?
Yes.
$15. 16 radiant and then a 4 necrotic.
16 radiant and 4 necrotic. It looks teetering.
And then the next person to attack it has advantage.
Okay.
And I would like to move to the cart and grab the chest if I can.
Okay, well, in order to grab the chest, you're gonna have to crawl around the front and be crawling into the front because it's just like it's a sealed wagon, and right now it's just split. So you're crawling in to try and grab a hold of the chest and get it to safety. So you're moving into the wagon, which is good.
That's fine.
All right, and then next up is me, and on my round, it will sit there and look down at this short goblin thing that has pushed it away from its target, and as it looks at you, Gabba, its eyes flare with the deepest, darkest of shadows. Shadows, you've seen similar things before in some of your recent quests into the Ether Bloom, but this is darkness in and of itself. Make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh boy. 19. Went from a 7 to
Okay.
a 17.
So you will take half damage from this, and you are not restrained as these dark tendrils from its revenant's gaze start to wrap around you and try to restrain you. 8, 9, 10, 11, 17 points cut in half. So we'll make that 8.
Okay.
8 points of damage, necrotic.
Ow.
And that is its action. So that brings us to Luka.
Okay, so whatever Maric did gives us all advantage.
Yeah.
The
Or is
next
that-
attack
The next-
hit it.
Just one attack.
That's already over? That's already
No,
over.
that's you.
Okay,
That's on
Oh.
you.
all right. Well, in that case, then I'll just keep with the Eldritch Blast. Blast.
You blast it again. Excellent.
Yes.
Roll away.
With a 17 to hit.
And that hits.
All right.
And I will let you know right now that you see it kind of dissolve into the ground.
10 points. Wow, 10 points damage.
Yeah, you hit this thing, and the energy from your blast absorbs into this thing and causes it to almost look like it's melting into the ground itself. And with that, you guys, the Guardian has been vanquished, and the caravan appears at this point to be safe. The gates of Faristad are wide open, and the townsfolk are now peeking out and starting to cheer. The guards have come down, and again, they look very, very timid. I mean, this is a farming community. They don't really have. It's not a real militia. These guys normally would have pitchforks, you know what I mean? But they do have some crossbows in their hands. They come down and they take into custody the prisoners that you've brought.
Hear our story of why they're in custody.
And with that, I mean, you're escorted into the town as well. And I'm going to share with you. I mean, I've already shared it before. I'm going to share again if I can. I'm just going to show it on the screen so people can see. We'll do this. So this is the map of the Middle Lands, in case people haven't seen it recently. So you've traveled from the number 1 on the map there, which is Mistwood, past number 9, which is Witch's Hill, past the bridge, which is number 7, all the way to number 2, which is Faristad, the town of Faristad, and some of the small. I don't, because each hex is 100 miles, so you're not seeing every little cluster of trees. You're only seeing the big things on there. So I will show that to you guys as well, but just so everybody gets a chance to see. Yes, you wanted to add something, Kael?
Kael's just basically going to walk up to the corpse of this monster and vent his frustration by just repeatedly casting Firebolt, because he can do it infinitely, and just
as I mentioned, there's no corpse.
Oh.
It's kind of melted into the ground. It was vegetation.
Okay, I thought it turned into like a puddle.
It's more like it's vegetation. It's like greens and vines and everything else that was corrupted, and then it's just kind of wilted and like dust and whatnot on the ground. It just blends in.
Then I'll just burn the dust.
All right, so you're doing this on the ground.
I am tired of interruptions.
So as I said,
Scaring the townsfolk.
Yeah, the townsfolk are a little bit freaked out by this. But the gates are open for you, and Creek rolls the caravan, or what's left of it, into the town square. The golden glow of the setting sun at this point bathes the gathered townsfolk in a warm light, and cheers rising up to greet you guys. This is the first time, you guys have done a lot of things, or some of you have, to help Mistwood, and you've always had the town's approval and support. But these townsfolk are really, they're cheering you on. You see a gentleman step forward, his weathered face beaming with gratitude. And he's got like really nice attire on, especially for a farming community. He says to you, "You have done more than deliver seeds. You have delivered hope. Faristad owes you a great debt." And the square is soon alive with music and laughter and rich aromas of freshly baked bread and roasted meats. Basically spending whatever resources they have left in the town, knowing that they're saved, that there's going to be hope after all. They're beginning. You see the beginnings of it. Like, it is again late into the day, early evening. You see a feast is beginning to be prepared in your honor. Townsfolk approach you guys, expressing their thanks. They all begin to kind of talk to you. Creek sits back with Ember, with the horses, and just kind of has a little flask.
Yeah, we caught the horses.
He brought the horses back with. You hear him say something, and all of a sudden they come back right beside him. But he's got a little flask, and he raises it up to you guys and takes a drink out of it as he's off to the side by himself. And you do hear him say, "To these brave souls whose courage brought life back to the fields." And a few people that are around Creek kind of, and they repeat it. So there is around, again, there's townsfolk around that you can talk to. There's the gentleman that did say that at first and approached you is the mayor, Diego Almarez. He's there as well, having conversation. There's this feast going on. Are you guys doing anything basically well here?
Kael actually looked surprised. Oh, sorry, you first. You can go first.
I would say.
Oh, we lost her. That's what happened.
She dropped.
What did she drop? She'll be back.
Okay, I guess I will go first. Kael just basically looks surprised that people are praising him, because he's not used to this. He's kind of used to how he's being treated by Helen and other people, treated a little warily. So to be praised is kind of a surprising moment for Kael.
Yeah, Gabba's kind of hiding behind his legs at the party, or at the crowd, a little intimidated. She's not used to that much attention.
All right, so you're there, Gail and Gabba, because Kael and Gabba, because Kael, you're looking at the crowd. Gabba, you're kind of standing off to the side. You guys can roll me a perception check.
Oh. Perception.
I've assumed that they've told the people about the bridge, the Silver Veil, being destroyed.
Yeah, word, and the mayor has basically assured you guys that word is being sent out to the spire to see what Aldrich wants to do about the bridge, and I'm sure he'll have his mages work on it.
We'll
And
have to
get
have the
clean.
waters cleared of snakes first.
Well, they don't know they're going to do that because if they belong there, they'll be left there. So,
Okay.
I rolled a 17, by the way.
Gabba
Okay,
rolled an
Gabba?
8.
an 8. So you don't notice her, but Kael, you do. At the very far end, like probably about 100 yards or so away, you notice that druid, Elowin, just kind of standing at the edge of the feast. Just watching the proceedings.
Kale's actually going to lead the group and actually approach Elowen.
Okay, so we'll get to Kael. So Maric, Luka, and Gabba, with all these festivities going on, are you guys doing anything or talking to anybody specific about anything?
Well, Gabba's protection leg suddenly moved off, so she's going to follow that. So she's with Kael at the moment.
Okay, so as you start heading off with Kael, and you realize all of a sudden where Kyle's going, you recognize Elowin as well as returned at about just over 100 yards away.
Oh,
so that leaves Luka and Maric. Are you guys doing anything?
I didn't notice anything. Just having fun with the
So
food
you're
in
just
the
talking
party.
with townsfolk?
Yep.
Okay. Maric?
Maric is probably having already ate and drank a little bit. Are there stalls or anything like market stalls still up?
Oh yeah, there's a few stalls still going.
Would there be like rutabar or other plants such as that, or
Yep.
is most of the harvest just not there because it's all rotted? And
You won't find a lot of fresh stuff from that, but I mean you'll find stuff like that jarred. You'll find jars of it for sure. Preserved.
that probably doesn't help me with what I was doing. In that case, then Merrick is probably just going about saying small prayers to everyone, occasionally talking to himself like, "No, Yin, it's not the time for that. We'll continue forth and maybe find some other thing." And he'll go just place to place, doing
Okay.
small prayers
Kind of
in
passing
the name
blessings
of his
on as a
god.
cleric. Okay. So you're doing your thing. I will have you note, you notice that during the celebration, as all this is going on, as you're making these rounds around the thing, that the magical seeds are taken out of the chest, and they are laid out in front of a druid and a priest that are sitting at a grand table with the mayor, and there's just kind of like a cloth on the table, and these seeds are put there, and they look to be a pretty heavy seed, and they're definitely glowing with divine energy. All of a sudden, as you're doing that, your mind goes cloudy for a minute, and you see a vision of the fields that you've been passing through that are all you've seen the rot and everything else in the distance. These fields, all of a sudden, you see them flourishing beyond anything your imagination could picture. But there's something in the distance, in that vision, something nagging, a storm in the center of the Middle Lands that could disrupt the balance. You can feel it, but yet you see this splendor of crops and bountiful returns, but there's just a hint of danger, and all of a sudden your vision returns, and you're back to normal as it goes through. As these guys are doing a ritual and they're putting the seed away at this point. Kael and Gabba, you reach over to where Elowin stands.
Kale's going to lead by saying, "Did we prove ourselves to you?"
You don't prove anything to me. It's not what I asked. I asked for you to prove that you were worthy to carry such a thing. Obviously you were, because you made it here. Barely.
He goes, then
She
what?
seems
Why
very-
are you here now?
She seems friendly and sincere, but very arrogant in a way.
Yeah, he basically just asked, why is she here now then?
Why not? Our watchful eye is everywhere in the Middlelands. And you get a chill when she says that, Gabba. As you realize as she's standing there and her robes are kind of slightly open, you see a very familiar symbol to you. It's the symbol of the Grove Bound Circle, which is the order that took you in.
Mm.
You are muted, by the way, Gavin, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, I wasn't saying anything yet. She was just thinking, but she's need help around here? We're good at helping with things.
Your place is already prepared. You have your own little grove.
Can still take
And
15 to help.
She looks down and she leans down to you and she whispers something in your ear. What she whispers is that your pond is the spring that feeds the Silvervale Run. And you know the Silvervale Run is very important to some of the farmlands. It's got magical properties to the water itself. And that's she tells you a little bit about that.
She takes it in, nods. Seems normal. It's kind of cool to her, but she understands.
You protect that, and we'll protect here as best we can.
She look up at Kael, but she called him Kyle. Look over. Kay. And she starts walking back.
Kael just turns to Eleanor and goes, I apologize, by the way, for losing my temper at the dead carcass of the monster. I was getting a little agitated by the interference.
One can't expect much from giant folk.
Wow.
And you pretty much know, as irritating as it is, you pretty much know that when it comes to most giant folk, she's probably right. So, not all giant folk, but most giant folk, yeah, she's probably right.
Yeah, he just basically sighs and just turns around and walks off. At that, he's basically showing her that he's not respecting that by his time anymore.
So she basically goes off into the tree lines near the edge of town, and as the feast winds down, the townsfolk offer their final thanks. The stars begin to twinkle overhead, and Faristad feels alive with new energy. Its people revitalized by your efforts. Mayor Diego clasps your hands one final time. The Middlelands are fortunate to have heroes like you. Should you ever need a home or a friend, Faristad will always welcome you with open arms. And with the promise of new adventures ahead, the caravan's journey concludes, and the road stretches ever onwards. As the mayor has removed his hand from each of you as he does, he gives you each a medallion, known as a farmer's medallion. It basically gives you advantage on animal handling checks.
Ooh.
Once per day. It resets on a long rest. And there is a one-time built into the medallion, only one time only, lesser restoration. It's actually in the shape of a sheaf of wheat.
Oh.
Like and subscribe.
I can subscribe.